Hi, this is Sakib Nakvi for AE Tuts, and in this quick tip, we will discover that how we can enable After Effects, Photoshop, and Illustrator, etc. to understand right to left languages. Yes, it is true that not only Western languages are preparing good text animations and titles in After Effects, but also a great work has been happening in Eastern languages. And there are many right to left and left to right languages in eastern part of the world, but in this tutorial we will focus only on right to left languages support. And when I will talk about right to left languages, there are dozens of such languages. I will generally discuss Arabic, Persian, and particularly will discuss Urdu, being my own language, but the same method and techniques can be adopted by any other such languages. And one more thing, that I will also include the method for both operating systems, that is Windows and Macintosh. But before we begin, let me discuss you the traditional method that is being used to use right to left languages in graphic world. So traditionally we use right to left text editor. For example, in Arabic, we use Arabic editor. For Persian users use Mariam Naviz, and Urdu users use InPage, etc. We write the text in it or make a text box, copy it, and then take it to some vector graphic software like Illustrator. Then the text appeared like a vector graphic, and then we use these vector layers into Photoshop or After Effects to animate them. So this is the traditional method that many users are using and are happy with it. But there are some hitches in it. The first problem is that you need some separate text editor that understand right to left languages. Second hitch is that in most of the cases we need to open the text editor first and then vector graphics software. Otherwise, in most of the cases, the text encoding failed. Third is that this method is mostly available in Windows platform and Mac has some limitation in it. So even the Mac users have to come to Windows and prepare their text as a vector file, and then they go back to Mac. Or even some Mac users who are using the right to left text editor for Mac like OpenOffice or NeoOffice, still they have some limitations. And the major drawback is that you cannot edit your text. When once it is converted into a vector graphic, means that if in some later stages you realize that the text has some mistake in it or the plan of the text has changed, you will have to do all the exercise once again. And one last thing is that as in this method you are using right to left text as a vector and you cannot edit your text, hence you are not able to do the things in After Effects that we normally do with the text layers in After Effects. For example, we cannot animate the layers as a text layer, neither we can enable the per character 3D, etc. So, now we have discussed the traditional method and the hitches in this method. Let's come to the job now. First, we will see how to enable right to left language support in our operating system. So, come to Windows first. The first thing we will do is that we will enable right to left language support in Windows. But before we start, one thing that I would like to mention here is that I am using Windows 7 as my platform, and I believe that Vista is almost alike. And once you go through this session, you will easily be able to do the same thing in XP. So first we will go to Start menu and we will look for Control Panel, and we will be available with these options. And in case if you are not seeing these icons, you might be at category mode where you can see something like this. So you just come to category and you change the category mode to large icons, and then you will look for regional and languages and select this one, and it will open up a dialog for you. And in this dialog, in third tab, you will see keyboard and languages. Here we will press change keyboard, and we will open up with another dialog which shows us different keyboards that we do have in our system. For example, I have this Urdu keyboard on my system with different keyboard layouts available with it. But if you are not seeing this, it is quite normal. You might have your keyboards, and if you want to add a keyboard in it, you just have to come into this add button. You will click add, and it will give you all the keyboards available in the system. For example, for Arabic users, there are dozens of Arabic keyboards like Algerian and Bahrain and Egypt and Iraq and these kind of Arabic keyboards. Similarly, if we scroll down a little, we will find Dari for Afghanistan Afghani language keyboard. And if we scroll down a little more, here we will find Persian and with its available keyboards. And if we scroll down a bit more, and here we will find Urdu. And one thing that I also want you to tell that you might not see all these Urdu keyboards when you click down this Urdu in this menu. These are the keyboard layouts that are not available with the system. You need to find them on the internet, and you can Google them, and you will find different keyboards layout that can be installed, and they are very easy to install. For example, CRULP can be Urdu phonetic keyboard can be found on this following link, and where you can download this keyboard layout, and you will have the instructions to install this. And when it will installed, it will come up in this option, and here you just have to check or uncheck to make sure that it is available or not. So when you add your keyboard, whatever language you are using, you just have to come, you will have to add, and you will have to check the keyboard layout, or you will have to find some keyboard layout on internet world, and you just bring that into in this menu. You just check it out and press OK. So this will be available in this list, and when you will press OK or apply, it will be available down in the menu where you can find the keyboard that you have installed. So this is how that we can add a keyboard, but we can further enhance all this. For example, we can come into advanced key settings, and here we have all the keyboards that we have installed. We are available with a list, and we can assign them the shortcut by changing key sequence, and we can assign them the shortcut to enhance our workflow. So press OK, and you will be available with your language and with all the keyboards that you require for your language. Well, when you finished with the language, adding a language support into your system, then you might think about adding the fonts, because the default system fonts are not as good as to use in graphic projects. You need to have some beautiful fonts to use in your graphic projects. So this is very simple part. You can Google the fonts. For example, you can Google Urdu fonts, you can Google Arabic fonts, and you can Google Persian fonts, and you will be available with a lot of free sources to download the fonts. And installing them is very easy. Most of the time these fonts whether come in pastable form or they come with their installers. So if they come with their installer, you just need to install them, and they will be available for you to use in your programs. And if they come in a pastable form, you just need to select the fonts, copy them, and you need to go to control panel, and there you will find for the fonts, click it, and here you just paste them. So that is how you can install the font in your Windows program, and these fonts will be available for you to use in your programs. So this was the Windows part, and before we actually go to look at how we will use right to left languages in After Effects, we need to go to Mac computers and enable right to left languages supports in Mac computers. So go towards that. As we have learned that how to add RTL, right to left language support in Windows, now we will see that how we will do the same thing in Mac. Adding right to left languages in Mac is a bit simpler, but at the same time the possibilities are fewer than the Windows. There are too many languages that are available in Mac, but at the same time there are too many languages are also there that are not available in Mac system. So first we will see that how we will enable those languages that are already available in Mac system, and then we will see that how we can add those languages that are not available in Mac systems. So first we will do that. We will go into system preferences, and then we will go to international tab, and then here we will go into input menu, and down below in this menu we can see all those languages that are available in Mac system. For example, Afghani Dari is there, Afghani Pashto is there, Arabic and different versions of Arabic with different keyboard layouts is available there. Also we have Persian language support with different available keyboard layout is also there. But my language Urdu, and there are many other languages that are not available here. For those languages, what we can do is that we can find a proper keyboard layout, and those language keyboard layouts can be found on internet, and there are many such keyboard layouts are available there, and then we can install them. So we will go to that, but first we will see that what is already available there, how to install them. For example, if you want to install Persian key WERTY, you just have to check in, and you also have to make sure that this input is also checked in so that these languages can be available in our menu here. So whenever we want them, we can access them. And as you can see that I have many Urdu and different keyboard layouts input in my language bar that I have installed in my system. They are not available in Mac system. I have to do it manually. So how we will do that? I will show you the method for Urdu, but I believe that the similar method will be available for other those languages that are not available in Mac computer. For example, if your language that is not available in Mac system, what you need to do is that you need to find a proper keyboard layout for that in internet. For example, in case of Urdu, here is the website and the link you can see on your screens. It is by Kamal Abdali, and this man has showed you how to enable Urdu in your Mac computer. What we need to do is that we need to download this keyboard layout. And here on my desktop, this keyboard layout is there. You extract this file on your computer, and you will find a folder which will have two files, Urdu Phonetic icon and Urdu Phonetic key layout. Now what we need to do is that we will take these two files into Macintosh hard drive in user in our home folder, and then we will look for the library. In library we will look for the keyboard layout, and then we will copy these two files from here and we will paste them in this folder. When you will copy this file in this folder, and then you will have to whether reboot or log out to your system, and when you will log in again, you will find these languages input in your international bar, and then you can enable them to be used in Mac. And as you can see that there are a couple of other keyboards for Urdu are there that I have downloaded from internet, and you can also find them from internet, and you can you can install them in the same way. So when you will install them, they will be available here in this palette, and you can easily install them. What you need to do is that you just have to check them. So when you will check them, then they will be available for you in this language bar to access them. And that is how you can add RTL language in computer. And for the fonts, there are very few right to left languages fonts available for the Mac computers. But one thing that we can do is that we can use the Windows font in Mac if we are using Snow Leopard or Leopard. And about the previous version, I cannot say anything with certainty. But for Snow Leopard and for the Leopard, I believe that most of the Windows font are still accessible in Mac. For example, here I have my font book. I just open it up, and here you will see the Urdu Win. It is a custom group that I have created in my font book, and these all fonts are in fact of Windows font. I have just copied these fonts and I have just pasted these fonts here in this group. And what I have observed is that most of these fonts are encoded accurately in different programs. Only few fonts have a little encoding problem. And once again, this is for the Leopard and Snow Leopard. And about the previous version, I cannot say anything with certainty, but you still can check them whether they will work in Tiger or previous version or not. So as you have seen that how to add RTL language support and fonts in Mac, now we will go towards the real action, that how to use RTL language in After Effects or in Photoshop or in Illustrator. But before that, we need to do one more thing, and that we will discuss in our next session. Okay, by the time you have learned that how to add the language support in Windows and how to add the language support in Mac, and you also have learned that how to add the fonts to enhance your fonts library to use in your graphics. Now we need one more thing to do before we go to the real action, and that is we need to go to Adobe's website, and there whether we will create a new account if you haven't an account there, or you can sign up with your account if you already have an account there. And then you will go into, when you sign up, you will need to go into downloads and you will go to updates. When you signed up on your account, you need to go to product, and there you will select Photoshop. You can either select for Macintosh if you are on a Mac, if you are a Mac user, or you can use you can select Photoshop Windows, and if you are a Windows user. So when you select it, you will be open up with these updates for Windows, and there you will come to the section version CS4, and just when you scroll down a little, you will find this update, Adobe Photoshop CS4 template to edit and create Arabic text. You need to download this file, and if you are a Mac user, in the same section you will find the file to download for the Mac version. But I'm telling you that I have used both the files. The Windows file, that file can be usable in Mac, and the file that they provide with the Mac version, you can use that file in Windows. So the difference of the Windows and Mac for this update is nothing. It is just a template that you need to download. So when you download this file, you save it into your library, and then we will take it to Photoshop. Now when you will download the file, it will give you a zip archive, and you just extract the file and it will give you this Arabic template for CS4. You need to save this file in your assets because it is our key to use RTL languages in our graphics, like in Photoshop or in Illustrator or in After Effects. And here we are in Windows. First we will see that how this will work in Windows, and then we will go to Mac and see that how this will work in Mac. So what you need to do is that you need to open this file with Photoshop. When you will open up this file in Photoshop, it will come up with this green text that is saying Marhaba in Arabic, that means welcome. What you need to do is that you just first change your language input from English to your language that you're using. For example, in my case, I'm using Urdu, and I'm using this CRULP Urdu phonetic keyboard. And if you are using Arabic or Persian or what other language that you are using, you just need to change to that. And then you come to select this layer in text. You select the layer and select it, and now you can
write whatever you like. For example, I'm going to write AE touch, and you select it what you have written, and you can change the fonts to whatever you like in your, and whatever fonts you are available within your library, or whatever you like. For example, I'm going to change this font to something like Alvinus Talit, and this font that I'm going to use in this. And you can also change the color from green to whatever color you like. Just scroll down this text into the center of your Photoshop file, and then you save this file, or if you want to preserve the original template, you can save as this file in some different location. Now you are finished with Photoshop. Now you need to come to After Effects, and here you will import this file, whether by double clicking on the project or by importing, and you go to desktop where you have downloaded this file and you had edited that file. You select this file and import as a composition crop layer. Press OK to accept it, and it will come as a crop layer composition. You select this file and drop into your project, and here you have this Urdu text. Now the good thing in this method is that you can just right click the file and you can convert to editable text. And when you will convert it to editable text, now this file can be manipulated right in After Effects. So you just come to change your keyboard, and then you go to text tool. You can select the text and you can edit the text whatever you like. So that is how you use this Photoshop template into form of a in form of a text layer in After Effects, and you can manipulate the text. And one more good thing is that you can animate this file by enabling per character 3D, and you can use all these properties that are using for the normal text and that are not available in case you are using the vector graphics, but here you can use all these properties freely. So that is how you can manipulate right to left languages text right in After Effects. And one thing I also wanted to tell is that though we have edited this file in Photoshop to just enhance our workflow, otherwise you can import the Photoshop template that you have downloaded from the Adobe's website. You can import right into After Effects directly, and you can manipulate the text here. That is how you will edit the text in After Effects in Windows. Now we'll go to Mac and see that the same thing.
So as this file will open up here in Mac, you can do all the things whatever you want to do. For example, you can rewrite the text, you can change the fonts, you can change the colors. What you need to do is that first you will come into language bar and will change your language there. For example, in my case, I will change it to Urdu phonetic, but you can use any language that you are using. And when you change the language bar, then you come and select the text, and you select the text tool and select your text, and now you can rewrite the things. other fonts if you wish. There might be some encoding problem for some of the fonts, but most of the fonts are working very well in Photoshop, Illustrator, and After Effects of Mac. Now, as you have finished decorating the file in Photoshop, now you can take this file into After Effects. And you can import the Photoshop file that you have saved. And this will appear in your project as a composition layer. You can pull down the folder, you can select the file and drop it down, and the same text file for you will be available to edit in After Effects. Now you right click and you can convert it into editable text, and then you can go to text tool and you can manipulate the text as you want. But before doing so, you need to go to language input menu, and there you will change your language input to that language that you want to use. And now you can write in your language, and so that is how you will use right to left languages right in After Effects of Mac version, and it will be the same procedure as you have done in Windows. And you can apply all other things and that you normally used to do with the other text layers in After Effects. For example, you can enable Protractor 3D. You can use all these properties for your graphics. You can also apply the layer styles, and you can blend it, drop shadow, inner shadow, outer glow, bevel and emboss, etc, etc. And you will see more freedom to manipulate your right to language text in After Effects than the method of the vector graphics that traditionally we used to do. So I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial and this tip, and I believe that it will enhance your right to left language work in After Effects. This is Saqib Naqvi here, and see you next time. Bye.